fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Othmere, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between. To stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
What is up, everybody? My name is Jake, also known as the Sinner Tarnished. Thank you so much for watching. A little bit about this before we get going here. About this playlist is so I've been I've been having a hard time doing live streams and also trying to get like very deep into the story and things like that. I just get too easily distracted, so I decided just to make a playthrough that I will basically be using my findings with psychology, specifically with like my previous lore video, my first lore video, The Great Works, about Carl Jung, process of individuation, you know, consciousness, unconsciousness, things like that. So this is probably going to take a long time, but luckily we have, I think, quite a while until the DLC or the expansion comes out. So hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to take my time with this playthrough. Hopefully upload, several a week, and be sure to give them likes, comment below what you guys think about it, and what your guys' interpretation of it is as well. One thing that I think just right off the gate is it's interesting that to me, where it looks like we come from, the Tarnished, specifically the player character, is very reminiscent of Inside the Erd Tree, like that, the boss room, and then you have that glow, which I associate with things like, the dawn of consciousness, intelligence, knowledge, things like that. So to me, what I'm getting from that cutscene is that we have the lands between is now America's psyche. We are a projection of her. I think specifically we are what is known in Jungian terms as the hero archetype, which I'll get into further, but the hero archetype is like basically what the player character does. We come and save the day, but it's deep within each of our psyches, and America's no different. So I believe that when that light happens and we enter the chapel of anticipation, and we are now thrust, we are birthed into her consciousness. So that's just first thing that I wanted to say about it. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff, and honestly it's getting to the point where it's there's so much, and there's so many like independent lore videos I want to make, but it's going to take so long to do that I also just want to, while I'm doing those, I want to complement that with a playthrough, so that way you guys can also see my thought process, because it's one thing to just present a lore video and be like, here, this is what I found, but it's also, I think, at least for me, I think it's interesting to be able to watch the process that I'm going through and the connections that I'm seeing real time, or something that I may have found earlier, but bringing to the attention of you guys now. But and then putting those thoughts and findings into a lore video, I think like you guys can kind of see the entire process, which I think is really, really unique and really cool. But anyways, I can't beat this guy, so I am not even gonna try. Although I've never played with the warrior character before, so yep, dead. Immediately dead. If you can do that, bravo, good on you. So notice, it sounds like we're getting thrown into water. And I make the connection of, to me, like light, the Erd Tree, those are all like very like above the surface consciousness, persona type of things. And then down in the water, in the depths, anytime we go below the surface, things like that is, I associate with her unconsciousness. So to me, I feel like this is why it's strange that, and you can see the light coming from behind, so this is America, her projection of her ego self, which is Melina, which is why there's light coming off of her and light in her direction.
Don't worry, Torrent.
Finds us kind of like in the unconscious.
We found him here, after all.
Yeah.
One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
So I believe that all Tarnished are this hero archetype, and they're waiting for one of these heroes to finally fulfill their mission. And like you can see, like there's no light sources in here. There's nothing in here. No entries, no nothing like that. She didn't move us. So somehow she got in here, Melina, and gave us the flasks and things like that. And then just pieced out. Which to me just screams that she is just a projection of America's psyche. And she is scouring the depths of her conscious and unconscious to find somebody who will become Elden Lord and right the world, the inner world of America. It's also interesting that let me see, is it this one? That we start in a cave. That's very Platonic with like the allegory of the cave, Plato's allegory of the cave, which is basically like when you're in this cave, you think that this is all that there is in the world. You're not really aware of the outside world or of anything outside of the walls of this cave. Plato goes into a lot more detail than that, but caves are also analogous to like the unconscious mind. It's just yet another. It's very synonymous with unconsciousness. So we are born, like we're here, and throughout our journey we get closer and closer to America's ego, America's consciousness, things like that. But yeah, if you just research Plato's cave, Plato's allegory of the cave, I mean, obviously he explains it much better than I can, but I can't take this hat. So out of the darkness and out of the cave, we come into the light of America's conscious. Think of everything above the surface is like things that it's the totality of all the decisions that she's made so far in her life. So the caveat to that is because the world is so fucked up that her unconscious and consciousness are starting to blend together, aka the lands between. Like there's no division anymore. So things like dragons are very much an unconscious mythical creature, but are now somehow wandering the lands of her consciousness. And this is why I believe why it's called the lands between, because it's between her conscious and unconscious self, and it's not supposed to be that way. Things are things are way out of whack. And yeah, we Tarnished are here to set that straight. So I don't really need to talk to him. First thing I'm gonna do is basically just open up the map here as quickly as I can. I record on my PlayStation, so I can only record like hour-long videos at a time. So I'm hoping to record like 2 or 3 at a time, and then release them throughout the week. I travel a lot for work, so there's some times where I'm gone, and I can't really do much. So hopefully I can schedule these out so it's a nice and even timeline for you guys to enjoy it. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. The more and more that I research psychology, and kind of like compare that to the story of Elden Ring, and not just the story, but also like the imagery, the different thematics that are going on. All the stuff is like, it's almost just like slapped into your face once you kind of understand it. And I know it's tough, and I did my due diligence with Carl Jung and with psychology, and I talked to a lot of people who are Jungian, I don't want to say experts, but enthusiasts, I suppose. They could be experts. I didn't ask their credentials or anything like that, but it's hard because you could apply Jung and his theories to damn near every like piece of mass media that's consumed by a large percentage of the public, because it's human psychology, right? Like it's like every story has, I mean, in its own version, a king and a queen, somebody who plays the jester, somebody who plays the hero, somebody who plays the villain. Like, all of these aspects can be found in almost every single media venture. But where it becomes like, okay, this is 100% based off of Carl Jung's teachings, and specifically like individuation and things like that, is, you know, the color that the Erdtree goes through, the fact that in game they use the term shadow, that America and Radagon are one person, which represents the anima and the animus. Like, there's just and there's so many different things that it skews you from, okay, so this doesn't just happen to fit in the mold of Carl Jung, but it is based off of specifically his findings in psychology. And like, I could be totally wrong, but I am not out here searching for these things. You know what I mean? Like, I just did my research on them because I stumbled into it based off of, you know, kind of following the breadcrumbs. And once I did that, it was like, oh, geez, okay, so here it is, like, just out in front of me. And it's kind of hard to ignore it. But again, I am, 1, no expert. 2, I'm very much a man of science, so if there's holes that are gaping and obvious about this theory, like, please tell me. I am not married to this at all. I'm just explaining what I'm finding, I guess.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina, offer you an accord.
Alright.
Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the two fingers, offering guidance and aid to the tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless.
I'll rub it in, jeez.
I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree. Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring. Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
Alright. Thank you. So that's a pretty big moment. So, right off the bat, the visuals of her character are pink hair, one golden eye, one that is shut with some sort of mark on it. She has the power to turn runes into strength. She seems to be some sort of like ethereal type of character, where she can pop in and out of essentially reality, and is her mission at this moment of time is to get to the base of the Erd Tree. So let's just start with her visuals. Pink hair. So to me, that is, when I think of pink hair, I think of Marika's blonde hair and Radagon's red hair put together. And if they're not trying to go for that, I can't imagine why else they would have her have pink hair. So to me, that represents Marika's probably true hair color. Like a pinkish strawberry blonde type of deal. Like her ego and her animus, which is Radagon, integrated together. And then you have the different eye. So one is golden, which again, when I see gold, I immediately associate it with consciousness. At least in this game. And I think you could make the argument within various other stories, myths, psychology, science, gold and consciousness are kind of one and the same. A lot of good that does. So whenever she is talking to us and has her golden eye, oh my god. See what I mean? I can't talk to do this. She is, her POV is that of America's ego, of her conscious side. And then, obviously, we find out that she can also embody the Glow-Eyed Queen, and when she does that golden eye, basically, it almost dies. Like, it's like when somebody's has blindness or glaucoma or something like that. It's like that very cloudy looking, and that's kind of what happens with her. And then she also, her other eye opens and it's glow. I mean, it's that twilight color. So again, you get, with the hair color, you get America, her ego and her animus, aka America and Ratigan. And then with the eyes, you get America, her ego, and, okay, Jesus, criminy. You get the ego, and then you get the shadow of the Glow-Eyed Queen. And then the fact that she can turn runes into strength is very, that's a very godlike power, right? Like, being able to do that is, you're basically giving life to somebody else, which is a very divine kind of ability. So to me, that represents the self. She's able to do that because all of these other parts of herself are integrated into her psyche. God, I freaking hate this thing. Ow. What the F? So yeah, that's that. Sorry, that's probably annoying. That is who I see as Melina. I don't even know, why am I bothering with this? Alright, let's go up through, get all that going. you gotta say?
This tiny golden aura is the grace of the Earth Tree. This light once shone in the eyes of your tarnished brethren, but now it is all that guides you. Or so I hear. You can see them, can't you? The rays of grace that guide you through your burden.
I can, yeah.
Upon the cliff in Castle Stormvale is a shard bearer, a demigod, who inherited a fragment of the shattered Elden Ring. If the rays of grace signal the castle, then the Elden Ring beckons you. As an ally by pact, I pray that you are fit to face the challenge presented by the ring. Upon the cliff.
So this is interesting because it makes it seem like
a demigod.
Not every tarnished who can see the grace that they point in the same direction.
If the signal the castle, then the Elden Ring beckons you.
Which means that not all tarnished are necessarily after the Elden Ring. They each kind of have their own journey, and it just so happens to be that ours is pointing in the direction of the castle, so the Elden Ring beckons us.
Everyone's been grafted. Everyone who came with me. They crossed the sea for me. They fought for me. Only to have their arms taken. Their legs taken. Even their heads taken. Taken and stuck to the spider. Did you know? If you're grafted by the spider, you become a chrysalid. It's quite a lark when you think about it.
Yeah.
You're all on your own, are you? And heading to Stormvale Castle? Enticed by the one in the white mask, I suppose. Oh, you've come to be one with the spider? Well, that makes us two peas in a pod. But I don't have your courage. It's scary, you know, having your arms cut off. Or legs. Or your head. I want to be like everyone else, but I'm just too scared. I'm nothing but a craven. Oh, I know. Can you take this little one along with you? The poor thing deserves someone braver than myself. And the spirits look rather fondly upon you. It'll be glad of your company, I think, the little un.
Little un.
It was a pleasure to see you. Oh, can you pass on a message for me? If you see the little chrysalids in Stormvale Castle, tell them I love them. And that, despite my craven heart, I'm sure I'll be joining their club soon enough. I'm finally getting the hang of this whole pain thing, you know. It was a pleasure to... Oh, tell them I love them. I'm finally getting the hang.
I've never really thought too much about her story or dialogue, but it seems weird that the people, like, they seem to come here specifically to be grafted. And I know that what? I'm pretty sure Vare points you in this direction, like, to be grafted. But I don't remember his specific dialogue. If he makes it sound like it's a good thing to be grafted or not. But they seem to be, like, willingly sacrificing themselves for something. playing like dog shit. I don't think I'm very good at these dual scimitars. They don't do jack shit. And the trees are laughing at me, man. Come on.
Not seen you before. Name's Bernal. Tarnished, just like you. Let me ask you something. Are you here in the lands between to take up the fight? Does your faith in the guidance of grace hold firm, despite the collapse of the Golden Order? Honest to a fault, I see. Such thoughts won't behoove you as a Tarnished. But there's nothing wrong with that. Any interest in bearing the torch of my battle arts? All I know is the sword. Picked up a fair few tricks in my time, too. Now's the time to pass them on. To a good Tarnished like you. There's a myriad of battle arts in these lands that I've yet to discover. Mementos of all the warriors who raised their arms in battle. Lost and died. A fine tale, all told, of true chivalric romance. That's how I fell in love with the sword, and the arts of combat. It grants meaning even to falling in battle, to death itself.
Well, that all sounds great.
Eh? Well, there's no rush. Knowledge of the arts can wait another day.
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can.
Help me. I'm stuck.
You are?
Hello? Oh, I am Alexander, also known as the Iron Fist. And as you can see, I'm stuck here. Please, can you help me out of this? My thanks. 1,000 thanks. Just give me a good smack from the rear with something nice and big. And I'll pop clean out, I'm sure. Don't dally. There's no need to fret. I'm very well trained. Give it your all, I say.
All right.
Ouch!
Oh, come on. There we go.
Well played, good sir. Well played. Though that mighty wallop of yours almost spelt the end of me. Ah. Well, I'm out now, and that's what counts. I thank you. And as a token of my appreciation, I'd like you to have this. Once again, pleasure is mine. I am the warrior Jar known as Alexander. Iron Fist Alexander, in fact. I journey to the east, where I intend to further my education in the ways of the world. And beyond these lands lie the scarlet, rot-blighted Caelid wilds. And upon their southern edge is Redmane Castle, in which a festival of combat is being held. I'd heard whispers of such festivities before. Doesn't the notion set your breast aflutter? I'm heading eastward to Redmane Castle on the southern edge of the scarlet, rot-blighted Caelid Wilds. I've heard there's to be a festival held there.
Alright. I'll see you there, bruh.
There's no mistake, is there? Death has left its mark once again. Ah, a tarnished, are you? I'm known as D. I hunt down those who live in death and weed their death root. Heed my warning. The village here has been touched by death, and worse yet, it is home to a mariner. If you value your life, then go no further. The village here has been touched by death. Turn back while you still can.
Alright. And so that's just like another, I don't want to say confirmation, but another example of how, so there's those who live in death, and then there seems to be these mariners that are like the worst of the worst of that subgroup, or however you want to say it. They seem to have the ability to call forth spirits and things like that. And it's interesting that they are called mariners and that they are associated with water. Because again, at the beginning of this, I said water and things like that are associated with the unconscious. So if America is repressing things like death and destruction, and those things are growing and growing and growing in her unconscious, it would make sense that those, because she's repressed them for so long, those same principles are starting to bleed over into her conscious and above the surface, which is what I believe like these sections of the game with mariners and those who live in death represent. It's like a well that is starting to pop through the ground, almost like like a volcano. It's like it's starting to erupt and bubble, and it's so fucking pissed that it is it can't be really contained anymore. But anywho. I'll come back and do all this stuff. This first episode is just going to be me opening up the map as much as possible in this first, 45, 60 minutes. talking about how I want this series to go. And then, you know, probably episode like 3 or 4 or something like that, where we actually go into castles and things like that. We'll start get down to the nitty gritty. God damn it. God. I knew she was baiting me so hard to do that. I knew that was just coming. You little son of a bitch. Promise I'm usually not this bad, but god damn, I'm getting my butt kicked. What is, like... What a useless, like, is there more that I can do with that? Alright, follow it up. Alright, I think this is a good place to just kidding.
Forgive me. I've been testing you to determine if the Elden Ring would truly have you. If you had the mettle to endure this long and arduous path. It seems my worries were unfounded. Torrent had your measure from the very start, whereas I merely pretended. There is but one other thing I can do to offer you guidance. I can take you to the Roundtable Hold, gathering place of tarnished champions, guided by grace. Very well. Let my hand rest upon you, for but a moment.
I don't think I've ever seen that, tell her you're off to the Roundtable Hold option before. It's kind of weird. Oh, the Roundtable. How much time do I have left here? I got 10 minutes. Alright, let's... Here's my quick 30,000 foot view of the Roundtable Hold. So I believe that the god that we are trying to kill is Malekith. And I know that there's not a ton of like direct evidence supporting it. So let me explain a little bit. So what do we know about what the game... Okay, so our purpose so far is to become Elden Lord. That's really all we know so far. But as we go further and further, we realize that we need to burn the Erd Tree. We need to and we need to go to Fair Missoula to release Destined Death. And then from there we can enter the Erd Tree. So to me, if Malekith is Marika's shadow in psychological terms, and holds within him basically the Glomide Queen, or the Rune of Death, and things like destruction, rage, hatred, and you can... Malekith has grown so powerful because, like I said in my lore video, the longer you repress something, the more it grows and the stronger it becomes. And if you keep repressing, by Marika continually repressing her shadow, she is no longer, her ego is no longer able to reintegrate that aspect of her psyche. The shadow side of herself has become too powerful. So basically the only thing she can do is lock it up and just pray to God that it stays far enough away that it never comes out. But it's up to us, the Tarnished, to release that aspect of her psyche, not just back into the outer world, but back into Marika's inner world, to make her balanced and to make her whole and things like that. And that's where I believe the Roundtable Hold comes from, is all these Tarnished in here. The god that we are trying to slay is Malekith. And I know that at one point Rodrika says, kill the god Marika, but it just, that doesn't really make any sense with what we see in game, because although we fight different aspects of Marika and of her conscious and unconscious, we never actually physically fight like the version that we see like here, for example. We never even see her move. So to me, and not only that, but with every ending, we still use Marika, like, except for the Frenzy Flame ending, which I'll talk about later, but we still like take her, or at least the Elden Ring, her consciousness, her healed consciousness, and move it into the new age, right? Like we still use, because this is still her world, right? Like all this is still within her mind. So it only makes sense that our, modus operandi, our only objective, is to reintegrate these aspects of her personality back into one whole, healthy, well-balanced system. And she's unable to do so with Malekith because he's grown so big, he's grown so powerful, that she just can't do it. Which is also probably part of the betrayal that that is mentioned in his remembrances. It's like, you told me to lock this away, and then you just sent me away into Fair Missoula, where I'm stuck in time and nobody can come to me and I can't escape and all this type of stuff. So I mean, like thematically and narratively, it makes sense that that is Malekith is the god that we are trying to kill. I will run out of time here, so we will talk more about that in the next episode. But let me know what you guys think. I mean, it's me being, a person of science. I'm almost playing this playthrough to go through the scientific method of finding ways that this theory doesn't hold up. And I mean, I welcome if you guys are like, dude, you're a complete dipshit. The only thing that I ask is that one, you watch my lore video, and then two, if you do have a criticism, I'd like it to be like bring your own thoughts and theories into it. I struggle when people are just like, this is wrong, and then they just type it, hit send, and then that's it, and they leave it. I'm all for this theory being complete bullshit, but if it is, let me know why. Don't just be like, yeah, this is bullshit, because that doesn't get us anywhere. And I think we are stumbling onto something that is at least towing the line of the actual story here. So I'll leave it at that for now. I appreciate each and every one of you. Know that you're important and you matter, and you matter to me, and I appreciate you watching this, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.